Well, first of all, I'm in America, and I am on a French web camera, so it'd take a lot of work for me to Photoshop what you're about to see on this camera. I mean, I'd have to hack into this thing, and I'm not getting a profit. So what you're going to see, I want you to keep your eyes focused. This is a current view on the northwest facing camera. That northwest facing camera, where that sits on the planet, that's roughly in this area, facing the northwest over here. It's low on the horizon, so I don't think that we're going to really catch this in Italy or France or Germany yet, because it sits very low. See, Germany's far to the north up here. So, and another thing is, as far as the star charts go, this is the northwest facing camera. This is about where France is at, and this is the actual time in real time, and we can see the facing northwest, and lo and behold, we've got the Orion constellation below us. That's important because this is where the system was spotted first by the IRIS telescope in 1983. And this thing is coming into view because it is bigger than the lens arrays that are hiding them, the overlapping lens arrays, as it passes in front of the cloaking field. So let's just watch one frame at a time. This Milky White planet, which I'd said in my other videos would be an awesome way to catch these planetary objects in time lapse with the Milky White planets that never move in the sky. So let's just watch. Now we see it turning a shadowy light. We will even see the reflection on the water. You can begin to see the reflection here. It's very subtle to the eyes, but it'll be more obvious when the waters are smooth. So let's keep going. And the wings will also come into focus. Here we can see them chemtrailing the sky to hide this object. But this is how we're going to see it. We can begin to see the formation of the plasma wings, this classic V shape right here. So here's the planet. You can see this classic V shape, the winged planet. Again, we could start to make out the shadow on the water. Probably to the invisible eye wouldn't be too visible because the eye can't see subtle contrasts of light when you're being blinded by a insanely bright sun. Isn't that convenient? Here we can start to see the shadowy object on the water becoming more obvious. And I will try and zoom in on full screens on some of these, but let's just keep watching, because in some of these stills it's pretty obvious as it comes more and more into focus as the projection. Here we can start to see the shadow object being projected on the water, getting more obvious. Now, I suppose let's see if we can catch one where it shows the plasma wings the best. I think that one's pretty good. Just hang in there because what you're watching is just a few days ago. See the plasma wings here? I can't zoom in and show you with the cursor very well. We can see the shadowy object being reflected on the water. And another planetary body over here. But I'm going to fast forward in time and show you that when the sun passes over, it has more of appearance as the sun. This was spotted infrared, so it's not visible to naked eye unless it's lit by another object like our sun. And let's see what that would look like. Keep watching. Look at this. That's absolutely crazy. Yep. Let's skip ahead. I'm going to skip this for a second and show you how this was actually spotted on this camera in San Diego on a beach. The same object. The Milky White planet that never moves with the clouds. That's how you catch this thing. Look at that. You can see the classic V pattern right here forming. So let's keep going back in time. And we can see the shadowy objects reflected on the water. Watch this thing become milky white before your very eyes in the next frame. You can still make out the notch of the wing area right here. Look. So let me zoom in on that one real quick. See it now becoming milky white. In the next frame, it's going to look like what we saw on the camera from the YouTube channel. There you go. Milky white planet. It's not moving with the clouds. Hours passing by. Clouds are moving, chemtrails moving, blowing by, but does this thing move? No. Look at that. 6 o'clock in the morning. Here's your milky white planet. There's the shadow on the water. This is how we're going to see it on the Earth until the system breaks down. And I mean system, I mean the lens array, the fake sun. Yeah, we have a real sun. Sun simulator, right? From the ISS. One subscriber even nicknamed it ISS, the International Sun Simulator. I love it. I have pictures of that, videos of that as well. Let's just go back in time. In fact, we'll hit the time-lapse button and we'll watch this thing progress. These planets have been here for a long time. As it passes away. And now, I would like to show you, we keep going on this time-lapse a little bit more, that from the same camera, a few days later, that this planetary object had partially eclipsed the sun, like we're going to see right here. Watch this. Oh, that wasn't the shot. It almost eclipsed it because it gets in front of it. Which I could pause this, but let me show you right here. Same camera in France. Now we've got the eclipse with the sun simulator in full force. Let's go back in time. See the shadowy object here? Projection from the lens array. Let's watch what happens when this thing gets in front of the sun. Right there. Isn't that peculiar? And look at all the spraying they're doing in front of this thing to hide it. Look at that. Weather manipulation, chemtrails. Look at that. Let's zoom in on that one. I want to show you something here. Now here you have the shadowy image of the planetary object, and I now think that this is actually not only eclipse point, but we have a lens here, and we got an overlapping lens here. And this is like where the light escapes from these two giant lenses. They're not this big, they just appear this big because they're further in space. The light's just being bent around this thing. And I had demonstrations of why and how the sun simulator works along with this object. So next I would like to show you one of my favorite YouTube subscribers had captured the fake sun. When I say fake, there's a sun simulator in front of the real sun. In this video from Dan Von Daisy's YouTube channel, we could see the hexagonal sun. We can see the hexagonal red light. Look at this thing flicker right here at regular intervals, passing through the getting partial, didn't completely go through the lens array. It doesn't take up the whole sky. I do believe it's right near the planets that they wish to hide, near the Orion's belt. So I had taken this video for time's sake, and let's speed this up from the YouTube channel. Please take note of how the lens array works with the sun simulator. Look how hexagonal this light source is. Now we've seen the same thing with cell phones that don't have shutters, but look at the hexagonal lens here in front of it light up as it passes through the sun. And then she catches it on another day. Now this here is just damning evidence. Look at the hexagonal shaped red lens petal effect, proof positive that it's passing through the lens array. And look how hexagonal this entire thing of light, look at these straight lines here. So thank you, Daisy, for that. That was awesome. And then from the International Space Station, or the International Sun Simulator, look at them turn this thing on. From one of the long arms, looks like a plasma beam, looks like almost like those fake sun dogs, dark sun halos we've been getting lately. That's this thing. Look at that thing. Looks like an intense electron beam as this thing lights up. Look at that. Here's the sun down here. According to the wow. So there you go. The International Sun Simulator. So let me take you back and do to the web camera. I will leave a link to this description. You can go there and see this yourself. More eyes on this, the better. And now we see this strange Milky White brown planet. Look at this, casting its projection even on the lens on the camera itself. So let's go back and do a time lapse. Back in time. Let's watch. Zoom back out. You can see the shadow from the water reflecting with it. And NASA and JPL knows all about this system. Yeah, pretty phenomenal, huh? And I want to show you one final thing that NASA and JPL knew about it. Matter of fact, the science world was even talking about it in magazines. The return of Planet X. Or how about this news article on the Washington Post, the New Times, a heavenly body as possibly as large as the giant planet Jupiter, and possibly so close that it could possibly be part of this solar system. Yeah, binary. Bound in the direction of the constellation Orion, like we see on Google Earth, orbiting telescope called the infrared, or IRAS, that Ronald Reagan knew about this, the International Telescope. Infrared. It's so cold that light can't pass. It's seen by the optical telescopes. Gee, I wonder why they built so many infrared telescopes to spot this thing. The Luciferian one, Project Lucifer, that the Catholic Church built. Here's Zachariah Stitchin. Well, he was still alive. There is an article here. His long-sought vindication, looking for Planet X. Again, captured. And NASA, it was even talking about. JPL was talking about. Yes, the same folks. Look at this. Thomas O'Toole, heavenly body. And the location of the Orion telescope. They spotted, they were excited. It was 50 years away. Yeah, you can dig this stuff up yourself, but they hushed it all up and killed some of the scientists that knew about it. Look at this. It's so insane. Washington Post, his thumb here, took a picture of it. Mr. Heavenly Body says the same thing. Spotted from the IRS telescope. Gary Newbuyer, chief scientist. Yep, And when they knew this thing was coming in, they hushed the whole thing up. So it's here, folks. I think it's on its final approach. And the government knows the day that they're going to see this thing. And I guarantee you, they know the day the whole world's going to see it. And they will have all the armies, the FEMA police will be in full force on the streets worldwide before this is seen. So you might want to meditate or think about, what do you think, what one event could possibly happen that would cause everybody to come out in the streets to bring out the FEMA police, the New World Order police, whatever you want to call them. So they're braced, armed, and ready for you to go and riot and say, oh, you never told us about this thing. And for directional purposes, I wanted to include about the Orion constellation and why it's important, because this is where it came from, like we read in the articles. So here is the object. The sun is coming from this direction. I showed you that it's in the northwest. Northwest. And then using solar system scope, you could see this is facing northwest, that this is in the area of France, this is the sun, this is Leo the constellation, we have the Orion belt below it. It fits the model perfectly, being really close to, I said this thing is coming at us from the ecliptic plane, just like 20 degrees. And that's why it's very hard to spot this thing. It's always on the horizon. If no one has noticed, look at, there's Ceres. Interesting. That's the planet that was smashed by this incoming system, now known as the asteroid belt, 3,600 years ago. So here it is approaching, I believe, slowly working its way towards this constellation, going between Venus and Mars. As it breaks through the ecliptic plane, I think in early October, headed in this direction. So I just thought I'd pull up the star charts for reference to see how we spot this thing as it is coming at us from the ecliptic plane, and currently above the Orion constellation where it was first spotted. Remember, it's orbiting around Nemesis. So once we got a fast-moving planet around a slow-moving star. So please copy, like, and share this video. Have a blessed day. See you at the Lord's Supper.